Canvas. So if this is just an example model here, so if you were to click the plus button and add an assignment like you normally do within Canvas, let's create a new assignment, and we're going to call this just paper. So this is our paper assignment. We're going to hit add and then go into paper, and here's where we're going to connect it to TurnItin. So we can say, okay, this if you wanted to describe the assignment here, if you had something you wanted to type in here, let's say it's worth 100 points. We're just going to leave it on the assignment group. You could put it to some subgroup if you wanted to. None of this is related to TurnIn. This is just the normal stuff that you would see. But here's the key to getting it to be TurnIn. So do that. There's going to be an online submission, right? And then you can say, okay, well, it's going to be file uploads, right? And here, as you come on down to plagiarism review, this is where you're going to say, yes, use TurnItin, okay? So when you select TurnIn, it's going to open up some options. The options here are store the submissions where, and I just leave it as standard paper repository. What this is saying is that it's going to add the papers that your students submit to the big database that's out there. Nobody will be able to see the content of those papers or the names. They just use it as a way to match against other student papers to see if there might be a match. But if you wanted to, you can leave your papers out of it completely and just do not store. But I just have it stored in the standard repository. That helps to, make the results a little more accurate for, other professors elsewhere. So we're going to compare the submissions against student repository, website content, periodicals, journals, and publications. You could turn off student repository if you wanted to, because sometimes in the results that gets to be a little cumbersome. But I would say, particularly your first time out doing one of these, I would leave them all checked. I still leave mine all checked and just handle the report in a filtered way, which I'll show you in another video. I tell it to exclude the bibliographic material, so if there's a references list, it doesn't look over that. I'll also tell it to exclude small sources. So if there's like a 5-word string or less, I have it ignore that, so 5 words. You could set where it is excluding quoted material if you wanted to. But I don't do that because I also want to see how often students actually use direct quotes. I don't use the grammar check and the rater technology. I just use this just for the TurnItin settings. So that's the TurnItin settings that I use. Excuse me, primarily the excluding bibliographic material, excluding small sources, and then show reports to students. They can see these immediately when they upload it, after the assignment is graded, after the due date, or never. I put immediately so students can upload and check their own paper for plagiarism and then upload it again. So you would want to leave this as unlimited attempts so that they could upload as many times as they want to prior to the assignment deadline. The only thing that they need to know is usually there's a 24-hour turnaround on a re-test of a paper from TurnItin. So in other words, if you submitted a draft paper, had TurnItin do a report, you have to wait 24 hours before it'll do a new one for you, although there's some workarounds that if they wanted you to run it for them, you could. But for the most part, that's the general rule. So then you can just, this is assigned to everyone. We'll put a due date on this, and we're going to hit save. I'm not going to publish because this is in a different course. But basically, that's how you set up the TurnIn assignment. So if this were published, students would have a place to upload the paper, and then it would automatically send to TurnIn. And I'll show you in another video how I deal with results from TurnIn reports.